Welcome to the Jobs and Work podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kendra Jason. I'm a sociologist and workplace equity consultant, and I will bring guests onto the show who reflect the diversity of the American workforce. On this podcast, I challenge you to think about work. Why? Because in America, we spend more time at our jobs than anywhere else. But how often do we really talk about work? And I mean all types of work: women's work, essential work, retirement, being your own boss, how to handle your boss, and so much more. Please subscribe and share the Jobs and Work with Work for Change podcast. You can learn more about my consultancy that supports this podcast at work4changellc.com. Hello, and welcome to episode 48 of the Jobs and Work with Work for Change podcast. Today, I have not one, but two special guests. I have Laurie Garo. Welcome back to the show, Laurie.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back.
Thank you. And Justin Surgeon. Welcome back to the podcast, Justin.
Thank you very much for having me back on here.
All right, cool. So as you can see or hear, Laurie and Justin have been on the podcast before as previous small business owners, as a small business owner feature. But today we're going to talk about collaboration because they have a new collaboration that they would like to talk about, and we're using the podcast as a platform to just elevate their message and elevate their collaboration. But for those of you who may not have seen or heard the podcast from last year or earlier this year with Laurie and Justin, let me give you just a quick bio read on both of them, just so we know who we have in the room. So Laurie Garo has a doctorate in curriculum and instruction for urban education from UNC Charlotte. She received an outstanding dissertation award for the counseling division of the American Education Research Association for her work with trauma from violence exposure and school-based healing-oriented trauma interventions. Laurie is also a competitive bodybuilder with certifications in ultimate bodybuilding and in trauma intervention through sports. She leads Lifting Inspirations, LLC, which is a trauma-responsive approach for resiliency in boys, utilizing weightlifting, wellness, and mentorship to build confidence, strengthen character, and develop leadership skills. Justin is a fine artist, also known as Enigma, originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. He started his art career in Charlotte in 2015, specializing in acrylic paint, oil paint, and other forms of mediums, which include custom portraits and designs. So Justin really began taking art seriously after a severe car accident in the spring of 2015, simply starting as an outlet of expression. His art quickly turned into something much more valuable. So Justin's passion for art and creating in general has been a catalyst of growth for him over the years and is still a prime factor for him today. All right. And so, we'll talk about a little bit more, but Justin, of course, has an awesome story about that car accident that basically, changed your trajectory and helped you be the great artist that you are now. So for those of us who are picking up, right? Laurie, let's start with you. Why don't you give us an update on what you've been up to and Lifting Inspirations and what brings you to the podcast today?
Well, Lifting Inspirations is growing very slowly, but we're getting opportunities.
Yes.
So I have a Arts and Science Council funding to provide Afro-Brazilian dance and drumming to some children at the Southview Recreation Center.
Awesome.
And that's incorporating arts also as a trauma responsive approach. And we've been in discussions with a couple of schools and with communities in schools to provide our weight training program in some schools and in some after school programs.
Awesome.
So those are kind of in the works, and prayerfully starting in January, we'll have something else going.
Awesome.
And of course, the book, I wrote a book for boys weight training, and it is illustrated by Justin. Fabulous, fabulous illustrations of boys, Black and brown boys doing various exercises, so that the book relates to children of color, and gets them all excited about learning weight training.
Awesome. And then Justin, so what's going on with Enigma? You were doing some work in Concord, North Carolina, before with the 90s Museum. So what's been up since then?
Pertaining to the 90s Museum, it's still rolling strong. Shout out to Jessica Jones and Camille. That's family right there. But my personal life, I'm still working in tech. Shout out to Kendra and Work for Change. As you know, you all were my first clients to ever do a freelance project with. So
yes,
that definitely added more momentum to where I was going. So right now I'm actually working as a SharePoint analyst,
okay,
and administrator for Polypore International.
yes.
So I've been there for this entire year. It's been a great experience, and just continuing to grow. And pertaining to my art, I'm still, grinding with the art as well, doing mural projects, doing commissions and things like that. So it's going really well. I've been doing a lot of digital stuff lately. So
Yeah.
Just seeing how far that goes and just continuing to grow. So it's great.
Yeah, continuing to grow, I think, is an understatement because, I know you were like the creative director. I think that was the right term with the 90s Museum, maybe a year or so ago. And then you started getting commission art, doing the murals and things. And then now the digital art. So it's really been an evolution in such a short period of time. Yeah. It's really something because I think one really awesome and unique thing about Laurie's story is that you started your business really like after retirement. Justin, you started but you're like fully engaged or was new about a year ago into the tech industry, and you're still doing that career path as you're doing well in your artworks as well. And I think it just speaks to a lot of people think that, retirement means a break, as far as like a break from doing what you normally do and entering a different phase. And, people think like, oh, if I own my own business, then I can't, still have my 9-to-5 or still have that stable income. And that's just not the case. We make our jobs, our small businesses revolve around us. I'm still fully employed at my full-time job. I still do Work for Change. I don't see them as competing in any way. They support each other in different ways. And so I just want to kind of remind folks, with your stories, how you both came into your small business and your vision and your passion. Everybody's story is different, but we can all learn from each other. So Laurie, so tell me about this book. All right. It's a children's book. And so tell me about it and what inspired you to write it? And then what inspired you to bring Justin in on this partnership?
Well, I wanted to have in my my toolkit, if you will, a book that I could give to children as part of the program.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
And I wanted it to be about weight training, but not just, as bodybuilders, as lifters, you need a certain character as well.
Yes.
So you need consistency, you need determination, perseverance, you need belief in yourself, and, all these different character traits.
Yeah.
That I wanted to also put into the book.
Yes.
And I wanted to make sure that the book was appealing to boys and especially to Black boys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched a Work for Change podcast with Justin, and I heard his story and I thought, what a wonderful story.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he could do the artwork because I need an artist. So I looked up his work and I thought, yeah, he can do this. So I approached him, said, would you like to do this? He said, yes. Turns out he was at Lifetime Gym as well and is into bodybuilding and weightlifting. So all I had to do was give him a list of the names of exercises and he knew what to do.
Right.
Together, these beautiful diagrams of that were perfect for every exercise. So it just was a marvelous partnership that grew out of, hearing his story on the Work for Change podcast. So it's just a great platform for partnerships with small businesses.
Justin, is this your first book illustration?
Yes, this is my first like real illustration gig. You know what I mean? So I was super excited when she reached out to me. It honestly felt like a dream come true. And you know, to connect the dots between work for change as well, that just made it even more perfect. You know what I mean? So I was definitely excited. I'm still excited. Can't wait till it comes out so we can spread it around and you know, let the people enjoy it.
Yeah, what's so interesting is so I probably met Justin, we probably met. So the three of us have a connection through working out. We all like before Work for Change was even a twinkle in my eye. Before Laurie was retiring and before, you know, Justin was even a creative director for years, we had worked out at the same gym. And we all were really dedicated. We would go on a regular basis. So we would see each other a lot, and we got familiar with each other in that way. You know, it was just, you know, interesting. You know how you have like your gym buddies, right? And then, you know, in our private lives, we went on these different ventures. And just like I remember, you know, Justin, I think, you know, with your podcast interview, you know, we talked so much about collaboration and networking and supporting each other. And, you know, when you're starting out, you just go to who you know. You know, so I was like, I know Justin is an artist. And I think, you know, at the time you were just telling me you had just got the new job. And I was like, well, maybe he could do this website thing for me because I don't know who else could do it. Did an excellent job. And, you know, we helped each other out in that regard. And so it was just, you know, and then like, I don't think Laurie really knew Justin much before, but through the podcast, she's like, oh, you know. So the other funny thing is like, Laurie and I would see each other at the gym, but we really didn't talk at the gym. It was only later that we really kind of befriended each other. And so we had this common space together, but it was just enough degrees of separation to say, I know someone who can do that. I know someone who can help me. I can know someone who can help me think through things. And sometimes when you're starting your own business or starting out your own venture, it's not always about having to pay somebody. Sometimes you just want to have someone to talk to, get your ideas out, you know, that iron sharpen iron. And like Justin and I talked about before, so many people are willing to have those conversations with you, as long as you're not scared to ask, because people don't know that you have a secret desire to start your own business or a secret desire to do something. So I did want to, I want to give the name of the book. That's what I was looking for. So it's called The Superhero in Me, Building Boys' Confidence, Character, and Muscle Through Weightlifting by Laurie Garo and illustrated by Justin Surgeon. Was there anything particularly challenging for you, Laurie, or Justin, about, you know, coming together, bringing your two worlds together to do this book, or was it pretty easy along the way?
I thought it was pretty easy. We had very, excuse me, very different schedules. So sometimes coordinating when to meet or you know, deadlines and all that stuff, a little bit of a challenge, but not anything that couldn't be overcome. I thought we worked together really, really well.
Yeah. Anything for you, Justin?
Yes, I definitely agree. I was going to say the same thing. The scheduling, that was probably the most challenging thing, but once we got together and, you know, were able to communicate with each other, it was a smooth process, honestly.
Yeah, I think scheduling is always one of those things, and I always encourage people to not let what you perceive as other people's lack of time and availability. We always think people are too busy, and yes, people are busy. You're busy, they're busy, but people do make time for things that they want to do or can do. And sometimes the answer is like, not right now, but when I'm finished this project, when I get through this particular thing, when I come back from out of town, you know, and sometimes you just have to be more flexible. But I always, you know, one of my main pieces of advice is that you have to stay out of other people's heads. You can't assume what people will say or that they're unavailable. Again, those are the things that we let get in the way of progress, because we say, oh, they're too busy. They're always, you know, their schedule is always tight. Yes. And you can be a part of that tight schedule too. So, Laura, how can people get their hands on the book? Do they have to be a part of your program in order to get the book? Is it available through a publisher or is it self-published? So how can we get it?
Well, it's not actually published yet. It's
Okay.
in press.
Okay.
And it's Outskirts Press. When I get the actual links, I can share it with you, but it will be available eventually on Amazon as well and Barnes and Noble. And then Justin and I can each purchase books and sell them to people as well.
Do you have an approximate release date?
They have not let me know exactly, but I'm expecting within the next month.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So let me tell you, Justin is like one of my top podcast, what do they call it, views? Because Justin promotes. And so, you know, I always say, you know, Laura, you do a good job with lifting inspirations as well, but don't be shy about promotion, advertising, marketing. If you, you know, if you need some assistance with marketing and advertising, I have some connections for you as well that maybe, you know, you can tap into. But, you know, we want this to be an Amazon bestseller. We want this to be, you know, on the Barnes and Noble's, you know, top selling list, especially locally, right? There's a lot of opportunities for outlets since it is, again, yeah, and Justin, you know this, Lifting Inspirations is such a unique, dope program. I mean, who would come up with such a concept to bring the world of like Black and brown boys with you know, with wellness through weightlifting and mentorship and, you know, all of the good things, all the enrichment that that they need in their lives, right? And do it in a way that really understands who they are as individuals and who they are as community members. Like Laurie literally has her PhD, you know, in that, and is sought out for her expertise in this. And plus she has a little grandson who's not so little anymore, who I'm sure is the inspiration for all of this work. So can you just talk about that really quickly, Laurie? How little Boo Bear is a inspiration for this work?
Yes, since birth, Boo Bear has been my inspiration. He's in the dedication, in my dedication for the book. But, you know, watching him and seeing how he views the world and his love for superheroes and for everything inquisitive and you know, just wanting to absorb knowledge and experience. It's wonderful. He's different than raising girls. And so this is a whole new world for me. And so the superhero concept came from his love for superheroes. And I think, I watch his friends, they all love superheroes. So that's a way to get boys engaged in weight training, that I want to be a superhero, you know, have missiles. And
we see, Justin, you know this, like we see the grown men wearing the superhero t-shirts, wearing the Captain America t-shirts and the Superman t-shirts.
Yes. You know, we love Marvel movies and DC movies too, my whole generation. So it's great.
And the back of the book has log pages, exercise log pages where you log in your workouts. But at the bottom, there's a quote. Some of them are directly from superheroes from Marvel movies, you know, lessons in life. And others are famous people. Some are just things we see on t-shirts and on the walls. But always a motivational quote that they can look to every day that they're logging in their workout. And have notes to write how they're being impacted.
That's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. Is there anything else you want, you know, like I said, you know, anything else you would like our viewers and listeners to think about or know as they, you know, go out looking for this book, Laurie or Justin?
Justin, do you have anything first?
I would just say, stay tuned. It's coming soon. So just be patient with us. It's well worth the wait. It's some great images in there and some great content. Working with Laurie, you know, even the quotes and stuff that you sent me before when I was trying to format the book, it's just some great content, especially for young boys. I think it's going to be great. And yeah, just the people out there, get your coins ready.
The cover image is a boy superhero that Justin put together.
It's awesome.
Really dope. I just love it.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
But I'm just so excited for them to get these bodybuilding pearls of wisdom and fundamentals in weight training.
Well, Laura, you let Work for Change, you let me Work for Change know when you're going to do your book release, when you're going to do your book signings. We have a lot of local, especially Black-owned bookstores. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, has a great Black-owned economy, bookstore in our economy. So let us know where you'll be. We'll help, promote the book as well. Also, it's going to be released just in time for the holidays. So no matter which holiday you celebrate,
This is true.
it's going to be a great, I can see, let me just put some ideas in people's head. You can have the book with like a jump rope, the book with a little barbell, give them a little starter kit along with the book, so and a little journal to supplement the journal that they'll be doing. I mean, these are experiences we want to give kids too, not just things, right? So I just want to remind folks that the holidays are coming up. Look out for this book. Laurie's contact information is below. Justin's contact information is below it as well. For those of you who are listening, just log into our YouTube podcast. You can see their information, or you can go to work4changellc.com, and you'll have all the links to get the information for their contact information as well. So with that, I'll say thank you again for spending some time and letting me be the first in the press to know that this awesome book, this awesome project is coming out. I support both of you 100%, like y'all supported me 1,000%. And we're going to get these books in these boys' hands and their parents' hands so we can do some more good in the world. All right. Yeah. So for everybody else, please continue to like, subscribe, and share to workforchange.com as we continue to work to make the world of work better. Have a great day, everyone.